Welcome to ecopenny. This year it's waste to art again for 2020 and the theme is aluminium and steel cans. So Waste to Art is a community program. Basically it's about the awareness of waste and recycling, and it's using the medium of art and crafts to get people talking about recycling more, reusing more and producing less waste. So there'll be a link at the end of the video about last year's Waste to Art. So I made a penny farthing. Last year's theme was baling, twine and string. So every year it has a different theme and you're going to try and put that theme into your artwork. You can make it totally out of the theme or just have a bit of the theme in it. So this year's aluminium, soda cans and steel cans. So I'm going to be making another penny farthing. I thought, what the heck, I've made one penny farthing last year. I'll make another one this year. So this one's going to have the front wheel is going to be the base of a steel can, and the back wheel is going to have a bit of soda can, aluminium can in it over some plastic, and I'll be using a bit of coat hanger wire and other bits and pieces. So I'm not exactly sure how this one's going to turn out. It'll be a bit smaller than last year's one. So I'm going to start tinkering in the shed and just see what I can come up with. In my workshop I've started to assemble the penny. I'm sort of making it as I go. It's hard to sort of design it exactly before I start, so I just fiddle around until I get somewhere. So the front wheel is from the bottom of the can. I'll just use the Dremel to cut around the bottom of the can, or all around the circumference, to pop the bottom off. Don't forget your safety gear when you're using Dremels and things. So that's the front wheel, and I use the Dremel to sand all these sharp edges here. So the front wheel is the bottom of the can. Back wheel was this little reel. I'm not sure where this came from, just in my odds and ends bin. Actually, yeah, I can figure it out now. It's one of those doorstop things. So you screw that to the wall and put your rubber doorstop on the end of it. Anyway, so I've used a Dremel as well to cut the end piece of that off and sanded that. So that's going to be the back wheel, and I've drilled a little hole in there. So you've got the front wheel, back wheel. I've used coat hanger wire to make the backbone, so that's going to sit in the hole here. So it just sits in the hole there. I'm just going to leave the wheels solid, so I'll probably paint spokes or do some other decoration. The front forks I've made out of coat hanger wire, so they're just going to go somehow like that. And I made the handlebars out of coat hanger wire as well. I don't know whether I'm going to glue these together or I'll figure it out. The seat I'm going to make out of a soda can. So I've got to get one of those. I haven't got one of those yet. So the theme this year, as you guessed, is aluminium and steel cans. That's why I'm using the steel can there. Made a wooden base there. I've just painted it yellow, and I've just Dremeled 2 slots. So the penny's going to sit in that base and that will support its weight. I'm using a metal primer on the body parts, then I'll spray it metallic aged copper, same as my penny. Going to take the e-bike out. It's a nice sunny day, just need to get some fresh air and see if I can find any aluminium cans just thrown down to make the rest of the penny farthing. Found the first one. Can number 2, it's a bit crushed. see how I go. It's a nice sunny day for a ride, so I thought if there's any rubbish I'll collect that as well and dispose of it. So this is a country road, but often people just chuck stuff out of the car windows. They're so inconsiderate. So that's pretty bad. That's about a 45-minute e-bike trip around the suburbs. I've got this rubbish, recyclable, and the cans. So I'm just going to use a couple of the cans. I'll clean them, then I'll recycle and throw away all the rubbish. But it's just a shame that people just chuck things on the side of the road, usually out of a car window. So you need to have an old iron. It's on maximum setting, on dry, maximum heat. You want some padding here. You need a clock in front of you, which I've got. So you need to do 1 minute ironing 3 separate times. So I've got the clock in front of me. It's nearly 1/2 minute. I'm going to iron it now. Got to be careful, the aluminium is going to get hot. That's been 1 minute, it's still in a circular shape. So that's the 3rd minute. It's still got a little bit of a spring to it, but it's a lot flatter than the other one. So I've just cut out a little seat pattern. I'm going to put that on top of the aluminium. See if I can cut this out. Quite easy to cut with scissors. Just going to try and score the tab. Scoring just makes it fold better. Today's the big unveiling of the Waste to Art 2020 project. So it's a pretty wild and windy day. It's in autumn but heading towards winter, so it's a good day to be inside doing the final touch-ups to the model. So I'll do the big unveiling now. So this one's a bit smaller than last year's model. There'll be a link at the end to last year's video. So this one's based on the front wheel being a bottom of a steel can. That's sort of made the size of the model what it is. So I'm pretty pleased with this one. It's got a few environmental bicycling messages on there, which you can see. So this year, 2020, as you know, because of coronavirus, it's really affected everything. And I'm really glad it hasn't actually cancelled this year's Waste to Art exhibition. It's going to be different, but it's not cancelled. So because of the coronavirus, you have to submit your entry online. So take a few photos of your project, write something about it, and email it to the Bathurst Council. They're going to look at all the photos to judge the winners of each category. And then the exhibition itself will be an online exhibition. So I'm not sure how they're going to do it, whether it's going to be on Facebook or on a website. You'll basically be able to look at all the photos of all the entries. So instead of actually seeing the exhibition live, you can look at it online, but at least it's not cancelled. So it's a bit different this year, but I'm just so glad it's not cancelled because basically everything else has been cancelled. It's a bit depressing. So I'm going to submit my entry today and then cross my fingers. It won't be until the end of the month until it's all judged, and I'll see how I go. But similar to last year's one, it's more the fun of doing it. I don't care whether I win. It'd be a bonus to win, but it's more just the fun of making it and entering it and seeing what everyone else comes up with. So don't forget to stay safe, keep listening to your government's protocols and policies, keep doing the physical distancing, wash your hands and have good hygiene. and hopefully we get through this bad period of 2020. I'll see you next time.